All right. My guest is here. I hear in my ear my guest is standing by ready, Chris Ruddy, CEO and chairman of Newsmax TV on the website newsmax.com, and a great friend of President Trump and a great friend of war. Chris Ruddy, how are you?
Wayne, great to be on with you. I'm doing great.
So on a personal note, I want to mention another accolade for Chris Ruddy. You know, my career has exploded. 2 TV shows, podcast, nationally syndicated radio show, my 17th interview with President Trump, my 20th book coming out. And all of it started with Chris Ruddy. Chris Ruddy took a chance on me on Newsmax TV in the 8 o'clock primetime hour, Bill O'Reilly's old hour, and put Bill O'Reilly on with me 3 times a week when I'd never been on TV with a political show before. And that kick-started my career. And nothing happening now would have happened without Chris Ruddy taking a chance on Wayne Allyn Roots. So I wanted to start by saying thank you, Chris.
Well, I think you were a star before I had you on Newsmax, and you were pretty well known at that time. But
for sports,
yeah. Well, I thought you had done some politics too, but you certainly have. You're a famous person. We'll leave it at that. And we're glad it's only rising. We're glad it's only rising.
Fighting hard for America. You know, I had my 17th interview with President Trump 2 weeks ago, and I brought up my idea that I think will win the midterms, which is national security emergency, which is totally allowed. The president can declare it whenever he wants, doesn't have to prove why. And the only way to overcome it is 2/3 vote, both houses of Congress. He did it for the border in 2018. And that was my suggestion then when I was on Newsmax TV. And President Trump took it, ran with it, took the money from the Pentagon budget, funded the border, and the Democrats could not legally challenge it. They proved that you can't challenge it in court. They tried to overturn it with a House resolution. Trump vetoed it, and it went through, and there was no problem. I think he should do it again to get photo voter ID and proof of citizenship and severe limits on mail-in ballots in place before the November election. Let's get your thoughts on what you think he should do before the midterms. Chris Ruddy, Newsmax.
Well, I would not be in favor. I appreciate your thoughts on it, but I would not be in favor of doing any national emergency because I like the democratic process to work itself out, and I like Congress to pass a law the president could sign. And I think that we don't want to start a precedent that every time the Congress doesn't agree or they can't get things through, the president declares a national emergency. I understand your anger. I understand your frustration about the voter ID. The way this has always been done in America is that the states do local elections. And in a way, we like this because if the national government controlled it, you could imagine when the Democrats, like under Obama, had 8 years of power, they would have done everything in their power to make sure every state had very loose, liberal, bad election laws and voting requirements. So, and once that happens, it's very hard to get back a pure democratic system. So I like the fact that 50 states and jurisdictions have different controls. I do like the fact that the president's suggesting some national guidelines like voter ID, which, by the way, Wayne, has 70-80% support on every poll I've ever seen. Everybody, Democrats, Correct. Republicans, everybody thinks we should have voter ID.
And proof of citizenship.
Right.
And proof of citizenship, right?
Yeah, I mean, whatever is appropriate that they would have to indicate that they through their ID, they should be able to ascertain whether they're a citizen or not. They do a search. So, unfortunately, that's not being done, and some states are very lax. But I don't think a national emergency would be something that I would back.
So let's see what you think our odds are of winning the midterms with everything remaining status quo. And I don't believe there's zero chance, in my opinion, there will be a Save America Act passed by the Senate. And even if it is, it'll be instantly legally challenged. So assuming everything stays the way it is right now, what are the odds we win the midterms? And what would be your plan to help us to do better in the midterms? What do you think is the best way to go?
Well, I think if we lose the midterms, it's likely not going to be due to voter fraud. That's not going to be the reason we lose. There'll be examples of it. There'll be cases of it around the country. There'll be elections where there'll be a lot of irregularities, particularly in blue states where they have all of these phony rules. However, in the red states and a lot of other swing states, they do have better rules and better requirements. So that's good. I think the issue and every poll has the Republicans down. You see it as I do. I mean, we just have an article on Newsmax.com now with the president's pollster, John McLaughlin. I think he has the Democrats up 6 points on the generic ballot. And so I think we win on the issues. The president has a really good track record, which everybody seems to forget in all of this.
Right.
Like, he's only been there a year and a half. He secured the border without having to build a border wall. He secured the border just arriving in the White House. Trump accounts. He's dropped prescription drug prices first time in 40 years. He whipped inflation. He really did. I mean, it's really, other than gasoline, which is a phenomena of Iran, which is a separate issue, but I think he's showing a lot of leadership there. I think his problem is not the voter polls. I think that's marginal right now. I think the issue is his message is not getting out because the media and others, and the White House is not doing, in my mind, a good enough job. The president's the only communicator. He's a great communicator. He's the only one I'm hearing from in the administration. Well, I've never seen anything like this.
Chris, we saw 4 years of a horrible economy under Joe Biden, and the media made it like it was a great economy. And now we have what I think is a booming economy. I know inflation is still somewhat of a problem for the average middle-class person between gas and groceries. I get it. But that's Biden's inflation. That's not Trump's. Trump has it under control. But the Trump economy is booming on Wall Street. 40% earnings increases. No one's ever seen anything like that. Reagan never produced anything like that. All-time highs in earnings and profits. No one seems to know this. I don't know why. I do this every night. I say it. No one seems to understand that the economy is booming because the media says it's not booming, it's terrible, and all they talk about is inflation.
Well, the stock market is at a pretty, near all-time highs or hitting highs. So the market, I think, is reacting positively. But remember, Wayne, 50% of the United States have no assets.
Doesn't own stocks.
They don't own anything. There's no assets. 50% of the country lives paycheck to paycheck or government check to government check. They have no money. There's no money for healthcare emergencies, anything, and they get wiped out in 2 weeks. And so those folks are voting too. I mean, that's just start there. You have 50% of the country. A lot of other people don't have a lot. So, that's an issue. And that's why, the socialists are driving in this country, because they are answering the concerns about affordability. What you said earlier is Donald Trump didn't cause these problems.
Right.
Biden gets elected. Trump had a wonderful recovery going out of COVID. Biden dumps into the economy $7.5 trillion in stimulus that we didn't need to do, almost a third of the GDP of the nation. And sure enough, what happens? You had an inflation of 25% wiped out. So if you had $100,000 in the bank account, it was really only worth $75,000 by the time Biden ended his. They wiped it out. So if you were making that type of money, you really lost 25% of your income. And that's what people were. They voted for Trump because they saw it. The problem is Donald Trump can't pull a switch and bring that 25% back. He's doing the things that you need to regain the purchasing power, bring back the value of the dollar. He's doing the right things. It's just a year and a half. I just don't understand why people are so negative towards him and the Republicans. I know it's the media game, but I think people should see through it.
You made two great points, and I'll let you run. I know you got another interview, but you made two great points that I make again and again on TV at night, and you hit them on the nail that, it took Reagan 2.5 years to turn around the Carter economy, and Trump's done a great job in only a year and a half, but you got to let him finish the job. He needs another year to probably pull off a Reagan. So that's one. And two, you said you can't get back what Biden did to you, and I say that all the time. If an apple was $1 under Trump and it went to $3 under Biden, people thought he'd magically come in Trump and make an apple $1 again. No, the base is he made sure it didn't rise beyond $3.10, but it's still $3, and the average person doesn't understand that.
Yeah, eggs, for instance, are 50% less. Trump
did
that. His policy was drill, 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 and it's got a lot of things on. You'll see in the next 2 years they'll bring gas prices down, even with this Iran thing going on. But you and I, we see it, and it's just, our voice is not going to be heard on ABC, CBS, NBC.
MSNBC and CNN,
and this is
none of them.
Thing that people get their news. So I would encourage your viewers and others to get the Newsmax app. You just download it on your phone, iPhone or Android. It's free. You can watch Newsmax 2 and our other important articles, and it's a way of staying connected and even getting Rumble with. You can click on the YouTube video on your app and get you Rumble through you.
a great American businessman. I always compare you, Chris, to like Steve Wynn. There'd be no Vegas without Steve Wynn. And you're a guy who started from scratch. I remember Newsmax. I was there at the beginning. I talked to you in the early 2000s. You had an office in Florida. You had a little website, and then you had a little TV network. And then all of a sudden, you've got now the competitor to Fox News. You've built this billion-dollar empire. You're an amazing guy. You're like a Steve Wynn for Vegas, but you're a Steve Wynn for the conservative media. Appreciate all you do. Congratulations.
When I have Steve Wynn's bank account, I'll be happy about the comparison.
Congratulations on all your success. You've done a great job, and I wish you well. Thank you, Chris.
Look forward to your next book.
You got it. Okay. All right, Chris Ruddy, Newsmax TV, my old boss for 3 years, 2017 to 2020. I had the 8 p.m. primetime time slot on Newsmax TV, and everything that's happened since is really because Chris took a chance on me. So thank you, Chris Ruddy. Let's go to a quick break. When we get back, I've got all the news of the day. And, of course, my first story is MS Now with a lead story on Wayne Root and Donald Trump trying to subvert the election. We'll be right back. Wayne on the Root Warzone Live, rootforamerica.com, WayneRoot@gmail.com. Be right back.